Hello, participants. Good afternoon to everyone. I hope you're all feeling good and are ready to learn about how to pitch to investors. And if I could please request all of you to come on videos so that we can meet you guys. So we have our esteemed speaker, Mr. Amit, here with us. Mr. Amit is a recognized sales consultant and trainer heading Disha Consultants, and he's helping businesses overcome sales and competition related challenges and double their conversions. He has had an inspiring journey from being a courier boy to now an end entrepreneur. And on this journey, he has founded the revolutionary authoritative selling framework, which has changed the dimensions of sales. Subsequently, he has founded Disha Consultants in 2015 to help companies and entrepreneurs compete against established competition. He is also a popular columnist for national and international media and has been extensively covered by international media houses such as Get Up, Carolot, Inc. 42, and more. Now I'd like to hand over to Mr. Amit to get into the real stuff that you're all here for.
Thank you, Kanchan, and good afternoon, everyone. How's everyone doing? So I hope everyone is keeping safe and doing great. To start with, thank you very much for this opportunity to interact with students. This is the best part of my job that I feel when I interact with students, when I interact with budding entrepreneurs. This is what excites me about this job, and thanks for giving that opportunity. Rest of you, I would like you to be on video because I like to see some human faces, right? Otherwise, it feels like I'm talking to a laptop. It gives a very slave feeling. So please be on video and at the same time on chat so that we can interact, because I love to interact with people. So let me know, all of you guys, where are you logging in from currently? What is which city are you logging in from? I'm logging in from Chennai, talking to you from Chennai. So all the people from Chennai and from Bangalore, we are very close by. Mumbai, okay, fantastic. Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi. Delhi is my birthplace, so I'm born and brought up there. Kolkata, I love that place. Karak, Bangalore, fantastic. Erode, we are close by, right? Assam, oh, this is the place I want to go. Actually, I've never got a chance. This is one part of the India that I've never been to. Hyderabad. So Hyderabad people, Baganara. My wife is actually from Andhra. So I'm married to a Telugu girl. All right, so everyone, good to have you all. Let's get started with this fantastic session. I've been doing these sessions for students and entrepreneurs. I've done it multiple times I actually do it in IIT Madras every year. I have done it in IBS, and now I'm doing it for the first time for IIM. Looking forward to it. To start with, first of all, why pitching? So let me ask you quickly, why pitching? Why pitching is so important, and especially to investors? Why? Why do you think it's important? To raise funds, or let me put it this way, if you have an idea, everybody has an idea, and most of the ideas are very high on potential and beautiful. But to convert those ideas into a successful venture, you need money, right? You need money for operations, you need money for hiring people, you need money for productions if you're working on those kind of ideas, designing and all that part of it. To make it a successful venture, you need money, and money comes from investors. There are different types of investors: angel investors, or regular investors, or there are investor firms that we target to. So we need that money, so we need to pitch it to them, and it's beautiful. Now, it's not just end here. This is the part that most of the people miss out, especially budding entrepreneurs. So you should not be only great pitching it to investors. You should be doing that to your founding members, right? You would need co-founders, you would need directors and those kind of people to work with. So to convince people, you need to be great at pitching. And then the customers, because it's not that easy that you create a product, you go out, and then you can easily sell it to customers, right? You need to get your first 50 customers. which is the biggest and the most difficult milestone. And if you get the past that, then rest of the things are very easy. So to convince customers, you need pitching. And most of the pitching is done by entrepreneurs there. It's not that you will have sales teams and they would be doing their job. Initial, whether you have a team, whether you don't have a team, that initial conversations, you need to drive it. And then finally, you need to hire employees as well, right? To convince them. Now, most of the people, as you would know, especially coming from backgrounds like IIM and IBS and all those kind of things, we always want to work with big companies or start something on our own. How many people wants to work with startups, right? To convince them is a difficult part. So there also your pitching skills would be required. So stay tuned, and I would tell you how to pitch to startups. But right now, what is the biggest challenge for pitching to investors or biggest challenge for startups? Now, this is a very interesting study and you need to know about it. 90% of the startups close down within the first 1.5 years. Forbes. That's not my study, that's the study that comes from Forbes. Amazing numbers, very heartbreaking, but it is the true reality. And post COVID, I'm going to tell you it's even worse, right? So that's where we are. The second study says only 20 pitches out of 100 win successful investments. Why? What happens to those 80% of it? Or, right? What do you think can go wrong there, right? Is it the product that they don't have a wonderful idea? Or is it that investors don't find it appealing? Or what do you think is wrong over there? Why only these less number of people are winning investments and not everybody? What is your take on that? What's wrong?
Maybe they are not able to communicate the ideas.
Precisely. That is what is missing. It's not that the ideas are not great. I have interacted with over like 5,000 entrepreneurs, which includes budding as well as successful. And let me tell you, I have never come across an idea which is, I can call it a worst idea. Okay, because most of the people, they work on ideas which solves a particular problem, which has a demand. But where it is going wrong is the connect between the entrepreneur and the connect between the investors. Investors are not able to realize the value and potential of that idea. They don't feel motivated to get into it, and that's where it is failing. So the connect is most important. Most of the entrepreneurs that I see during the pitches, when working with entrepreneurs, when being part of those pitches demonstrations, this is what I have realized, that most of the entrepreneurs are not able to make that connect and that impact within the first 10-15 minutes, which is the most crucial part of it. If we could do that, then rest of all is very, very easy. But for that to happen, there is something bigger that is required, which is called as reverse engineering. So how many people know reverse engineering here, and what is your understanding of it? Type in there, reverse engineer, right? Pretty big concept. You not just have a big company standing on this concept, you have big economies, trillion-dollar economies standing on this particular concept. So what is reverse engineering? We need to reverse engineer the brain of the investors. If we could do that, then everything gets sorted. So how do they think? How do they select a pitch? When do they feel like I should invest in this? And when they do feel like when I should not invest in this? If we could understand that part and reverse engineer our pitch from there, then it becomes way easy. So ladies and gentlemen, even if you have to take a picture of it or note it down or whatever it is, write down these 6 questions that any investor asks himself or herself before investing in a product or an idea. The most powerful 6 questions. If your pitch could address these questions, then you have found a way to the investor's heart and you will win investments, otherwise not. So what are those 6 questions that they ask at different stages of your pitch? Remember, your pitch is not going to be more than 15-20 minutes. You're not going to go beyond that. That is the time all you have. And in that, if you couldn't answer these 6 questions, then it's done and dusted. It's called as the death trap of your pitch. So unless it crosses, you don't have them. What are those 6 questions? First of all is, can we trust him or her? A very big thing. All right. Remember, your product is not a product that you're selling. You are the product. So you are positioning yourself as the product. And unless they trust you, they won't invest in you and they won't go any further from there. The second big question is, why should we consider this idea? That's the value part of it. Unless you show that potential, you're not going to get through that. Now, these two first questions are the most important and form the bigger part of your sales pitch or investor pitch or elevator pitch, whatever it is called. Then comes the next question. If you cross this stage, then comes how he or she will do it, right? You got the idea, you impressed me with the idea, you got my attention, but how do you plan to make me money out of it, right? That is the third question that they ask. And then comes the fourth question, should we invest or should we not invest in it? And the fifth question, or sixth, I'm not counting, how much should we invest? So if we decided to invest, like what kind of money I'm ready to put in over there, right? The bigger the money you get, the better it is for you. But for that, a lot of things has to go. So this is kind of a death trap, you can call it, for your sales pitch, elevator pitch. If I have to divide it into stages, this is what it is. You call it the beginning, win the trust. The middle, which makes the major part of it, is why should I consider your idea, investment in your idea. And the end part of it is how he or she will actually do it. All right. Now, in the end, there will be multiple questions like, should we invest in it or not, and how much we should invest. But for the understanding sake, I've removed those questions. But this is what is your pitch is going to be all about. All you will have is 15 minutes. And in those 15 minutes, you need to answer these 6 big questions or 5 big questions. All right. So let's get into the skin of it and understand. How many people love video here? Let me tell. Give me a yes or no. How many people watch video? I want to know. See, I'm not going to move forward unless I get some interesting answer. And if I find you saying you don't watch videos, let me tell you, you're lying to me. Okay, that doesn't happen. So let me see. Give me a yes or a no. So how many people watch videos here? Time to watch some video and understand the part of it. Okay, now I'm going to play a video of a live pitch which is going on. Okay. And you know the 5-6 questions that goes into the investor's mind. Try to watch it through that angle, through that perspective, and then we'll discuss a little more about it. So if you can confirm, you can see my screen and you're seeing the video that I'm going to play, just to make sure everything is on. That's what I'm watching right now as we are on Zoom. Ayush, that's a very interesting answer. Okay, so who doesn't? Someone said who doesn't also. Yeah, that's who doesn't. Nanda Kishore, yeah. All right, so let's watch this video, okay? And there are a couple of videos, so it's going to take another 5 minutes. Stay patient with me, and then we will break it down step by step by step. So unless I put this example in front of you, anything I will talk will sound very superficial. All right, I don't want that to happen. So let's get started.
First in the tank is a product with convenience in mind.
I'm going to stop here for a minute just to confirm that you are getting the audio of that video. Were you?
Yes.
All right, fantastic. Just to make sure. All right, let's go ahead.
Greetings, Sharks. I'm Henry Gracie, and I'm seeking a $500,000 investment in exchange for a 5% equity stake in my apparel company, Quick Flip. It was a cold December morning, and my son wanted to go to the park, so I threw on my favorite hoodie, and off we went. After about 30 minutes of chasing this guy around the park, the sun began peeking through the clouds, and I started to sweat. At that point, I had no choice but to take off my hoodie. You can probably guess what my options were. We have the fanny pack. We have the European Yacht Club. I see you, Robert. And then we have the want to be cool guy. This is the option I stuck with. But when I finally caught up to little man, I bent over to pick him up, and the hoodie slipped off my shoulder onto the wet grass. Oh, no. There has to be a better way. Sharks, that was it. Quick Flip was born. Check this out. Flip it, tuck it, shake it, And voila, in a matter of seconds, using our proprietary conversion technology, we can turn any outerwear garment into a fully functional backpack in a flash. With our slide and bite technology, you can adjust the pack to keep it safe and secure during literally any activity, even jujitsu with your brother. But wait, there's more. You can store anything you want inside the backpack. And when the temperature drops, simply reach in, take out your stuff. With one hand, sharks, count to 3. Too late, we're already back to full functionality in a matter of seconds. Do you want us to leave? We can step out of the room. All I need are my black belt business partners to help me submit the outerwear industry and flip your investments into black belt profits. Who's with me?
Wow, that was exhausting.
And my brother, Hidon Gracie, thanks for being here, brother. We'll see you soon.
Bye, brother.
All right, everyone. Let me just go back to my slide deck. I'm going to play some more videos for you later part of the day. We have some time. But let me tell you, who liked his pitch? Well, it did one investment, and I would show it to you. But who liked it? Who liked the presentation part of it? And what are the questions, let me ask you, were you able to find in that pitch? Okay, what part of the questions could you find in that? I asked for multiple questions, right? So as part of that pitch, how many questions did you did you see he answered? Product was simple, but presentation was great. This is obviously good, but in reality, it seems disconnected. I would get to that. Joy, to understand. He explained the utility of his product. All right, let's break it down step by step. It's going to be very, very interesting as we start to break it down. All right. First thing first, if you would have noticed in the pitch, now it may not be fully covered, but you are going to, find those missing pieces and fill it up. First thing first is, what investor wants is, can we trust him or her? Can he or she do it? That is the first question. They have it in mind. All right. So what your pitch should be focused on is establishing the trust, the believability part of it, and the sellable part of it. Remember, as I said in the very beginning, that your product or your service or your idea is not the product that you're selling. You are the product first. And unless they see it in you, they are disconnected in their mind. So you got to establish your authority over them. And how do you do that? There is only one way, and that is your authoritative introduction, right? Showcase your credibility, establish your authority, and set the right impression. If you could do that, remember the human mind, how it works, our attention span is very, very limited. We hardly have 2 to 3 minutes to like someone and to, in our mind tell us whether we want to proceed further or not. Yeah, I'm getting to that, how we can trust. This is all going to come together. Guys, you are running ahead of me, so stay patient. I'm going to answer each one of it one by one. All right. So showcase your credibility, establish your authority over others, and set the right impression. And it takes a lot more than just a normal introduction. So here I'm breaking it down how your introduction should be so that it just not win the trust of people. We should hire a psychiatrist to go for pitch presentations. I'm not sure what does that mean, hire a psychiatrist. You can try that, all right? But this will break it down a lot for you, all right? So let's talk about authoritative introduction, which is the most powerful thing, the way you introduce people. Remember, this is where in India especially, I have seen even the successful entrepreneurs and big corporate CEOs also, they miss it big on this part. Whenever we have to introduce, we are not introducing ourselves in the right way. And most of the people, and especially I'll tell you when interacting with students, they skip this part. They just don't take their own individuality, their own identity into account and introduce themselves. So what is the right way to do it? First of all, you tell who actually you are. Who are you, right? Like, I am an authoritative selling expert. That's what I say. I am Amit Sharma. I am an authoritative selling expert. or you are a automobile engineer, or you are a computer engineer, who you are, you actually introduce yourself. Then you say, I'm also the CEO of this company. That is your second identity, but your first identity should not be compromised on that. Then you introduce what you are involved in building. What are you building? Are you building a chemical factory? Are you building a software? Are you building some nice organic products? Or what is your idea, right? What are you are involved in offering a particular product, a defined offering. Then you go ahead and put to what kind of customers you're targeting. Now, this is where you have to be very well defined. I'll give you an example of it also so you understand it better. But first, learn the framework. You introduce to a very specified audience. Now, this is where people go wrong a lot of time. Okay, you have to be very specific, highlighting your audience. Are you selling it? You cannot say, you cannot just skip this part, or you cannot go general, like I'm designing it for customers or customers like that. You have to be very specific, like which industry, which type of customers you are doing it for. What is the problem that you're solving for them? Now, a very specific problem. This is most important part of it. Then what kind of results they will achieve with your solution? That's very, very important. What kind of results they will achieve, and what is your differentiation? Let's look at this in action. I have put together one. So imagine you are selling a software solution, and you are going to sell it to automobile companies. Automobile companies, they sell cars, right? So they design cars, and on top of it, they have an assembly line through which they produce those different parts and assemble it together, and then the car comes out in the showroom. That is the whole part of it, right? Now imagine you are selling it to automobiles, and what is the problem you want to solve? Let's check it out here. How would you put it together? The problem is you're solving is the production of one particular car. It takes about 3 years. If you are working on a new model, it takes about 3 years from designing to market. Okay, that is the problem that you have realized. And why is it happening? It's because of the slow assembly line. It's based on very manual processes, very low productivity, a lot of approvals, quality checks, and all that, killing the time to market. So how would you pitch this idea? Hi, I'm Amit Sharma, a successful software architect. That is my identity, right? I'm also the founder and CEO of Disha Consultants, involved in offering software solutions targeting automobile manufacturers to automate their assembly line 2 times faster and reduce their time to market by half, driving more revenue and profits for them. Our USP lies in offering a cloud-based solution at a commodity price, which no other service provider is currently offering. So that's a short 1-minute introduction that gives an idea to people. Couple of ideas, couple of things it will answer. Why should we trust you? Who you are and why should we trust you? When you say you are a successful architect, then people trust you and they feel you know your field, what you're doing. And that is the authority that people have on them, about you. Then you go into describing what is the problem what is the product that you're offering, what is the problem that you're solving, and after using your product, what kind of results those companies or those people, if you're targeting, is going to have, and what is your differentiation. And this is also called as your elevator pitch. I'll give you this framework. You can note it down. Everybody says elevator pitch should be ready. This is going to be your elevator pitch. Now, the second thing that you say is going to be your ask immediately. So in any investor pitch deck presentation, right, you need to upfront tell what is your ask. So I am seeking an investment of these many crores for an equity share of this much percentage. Equity share is nothing but the partnerships that you're offering them to capture a market share of this size in this much time. Now, that's very important for investors. If you want their attention in the first 2 minutes, then this is going to be another most important piece of it. So let's take a look at it in action, going by the same example of software. My ask can be, I'm seeking an investment of 10 crores for an equity share of, let's say, 20%. Most of the entrepreneurs offer equity share between 20 to 30% or 15 to 30%. in the beginning. And if you can land an investment for 25% of equity share, it's a very good thing. Okay, so I'm seeking an investment of rupees 10 crore for an equity share of 20% to capture. This is the most important part of it now, to capture a 40% market share of 20,000 crore automobile market size by 2025. Now, when you say this in the first 30 seconds, you got their attention. All right. I'm going to take up the questions as well. Okay. But let's first break down the first sales pitch part of it. And then I will take up the questions in the middle. Keep writing those questions. Keep it with you so that you don't forget. Okay. So this makes, ladies and gentlemen, your elevator pitch. If you put it together, I'll share this slide deck. I'll share it with Kanchan, and Kanchan can share it with you guys. So you have this elevator pitch deck. But this is what it is going to be. You first introduce yourself, then you mention about your offering, the specific problems it is solving, and then the specific results it's going to drive, what kind of competitions you have, what is your differentiation over there in terms of them. I already told it. And then you go in describing what kind of size of the market you're targeting and those kind of details. What would be your ask? So that becomes your elevator pitch. So should we be formal, which delivering pitch, or like informally in the video we saw? Yeah, that is going to be the next part. You can be formal, you can be informal, it doesn't matter. See, the quality of information that you're sharing with them, that's all that matters. Okay, your presentation has to be watertight. We're going to discuss about it. But then this information, you can put it in any parts, but there are certain elements of this information that should not be skipped. And what are those elements? Let me just go back. Just give me a moment. Those elements are, first of all, your introduction. Never mess up with that, which is, according to me, if you want people to take you seriously, especially when you're young, right, and coming up with big ideas, you want people to take you seriously, then your introduction has to be very, very powerful. Second, the problem that you're solving, the results that you're going to drive, what is your differentiation, and these are most important part of it. And in your ask, when you ask people what kind of investment you're asking, what kind of equity share you're going to give it to them, and what kind of market size you're targeting, and by what timeline do you think you'll be able to achieve that market share, these are some of the very important elements of an elevator pitch, which you deliver in the very beginning, that answer the questions, why should we trust you? And at the same time, can you do it? That is the questions, the investor questions will be answered in this. All right. So elements, you have to, don't mess up with on that, but pitch you can create around it. Feel free about it, because you can come up with much better ideas than me. I don't have any doubts on that. So play around with it, but don't change the elements. Don't miss the elements. Don't exclude the element. Then it will all land you in any kind of problem. What kind of problem does it land to? Because if your introduction is not clear and they started asking you questions around your product, questions around the value of it, then you landed yourself into a problem. All right. Many entrepreneurs struggle to answer those questions. They get nervous around it. And then what happens is whole thing gets into a trap. And that's where most of the investments are lost. I'm going to show you that part also. But let's talk about the second most important part of it is, why should we consider your idea? Most important part of it. Now, this is where you would be talking about the value your product or your service or your idea is going to bring to those customers that you're going to target. Now, like I mentioned to you, if the value is not clear in investors' mind, hell lot of questions would be coming to you. Hell lot of questions would be coming to you. I'm sorry, is there a question? Otherwise, I would request everyone to be on mute, because the flow gets disturbed. It's not good for you and others also. All right, let's talk about it. If the differentiation or the value of your idea is not clear in investors' mind, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to land you into a place where you will be asked a lot of questions. And if you entered into that part where you have to answer those questions, then you have landed yourself into problem, because answering those questions becomes very troublesome for an entrepreneur to justify the value to the investors. There can be specific questions which you may be able to answer. There can be random questions which you might not be able to answer. Okay. But why is it important to create value, clear value? Because see, investor knows many things, but it doesn't know all the things. Do we agree to that? Give me a yes or a no. Does he know everything? He is all knowing? No, right? Exactly. That is my whole question, right? That is my whole point also, that he may not know everything unless you make it very, very clear to them what your idea is, what is the value of it, and what kind of change it's going to bring into the customer's life or in their business, whether B2B product or B2C product, it doesn't matter. If the differentiation or that value is not clear, then it all goes south. And if that goes that way, then it's a problem. So remember, in this first 10 minutes, 15 minutes, what you need to do is, your goal is very, very clear. Create the value for investors with minimum questions. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. So your pitch should focus on strong reasons to invest in your idea. You should be discussing real customer problems and giving on-demand solutions, like the solutions which are in demand. Okay, you should project as if these are the solutions I'm bringing up, which are heavy in demand. Create that persona and anybody will invest in it. Let me tell you. And don't think that investors, they are all knowing. It's not that. They just see the potential. And if they feel the potential is there, they invest. And let me tell you, there are so many investments that has been done by investors which have actually gone wrong. Okay, which have actually gone wrong, where initial idea, it felt like big potential, but it didn't work out as it was expected. So what it communicates is, it's all lies in how you are able to create the value for your idea. People invest in that value. Now, how many people know these two guys? Let me ask you this. Yeah, first is Steve Jobs, but do you know the second person? Really, Saif Ali Khan? Scully. It's John Scully. For whoever said John Scully, was it Menahi, right? Fantastic. That was John Scully. So their story is very important to understand the next part of it, how to structure your pitch about your idea so that you can create value in prospect or in investors' mind. So the story goes back in 1974 when Apple was just a startup. All right. And they had a small board, and they felt Steve Jobs was actually very young to run this company and make it big to its true potential. So they thought, let's hire some experience. And the board of Apple zeroed down on a person called as John Scully. John Scully at that time was noted down. He was the president of PepsiCo, running one of the biggest companies on earth. He was very powerful, hell lot of money in salary and incentives and all kind of freedom and power. So influential that he had a say in the presidential election also. All right, just like our Ambani and Adani's, right? So he was like that. Now the point is, why would a person of this caliber and this kind of success who is enjoying, why would he leave his position and come to Apple, a startup? So Steve Jobs was given a task to convince Scully. Now Steve Jobs has two tasks, two big humongous tasks. One is to find an appointment with Scully, because it is not easy. Even BBC has to stand in line to get a word out from him. He was so, successful and so busy person. Second thing is, how would you convince him? What would you say to him that he can come and join Apple? Now, if you are in a position of Scully, how many people will actually consider joining a startup, which will have less payout because the Apple revenue was less than the salary and incentive and package of Scully. Remember that, the entire startup revenue. So one day, Steve Jobs got a chance to catch up with Scully when he was coming to an event. There, when he comes in his big limousine car, all the media outlet was there to catch a word from him. Steve Jobs was behind the media. He just waved through the media. He popped in front of Scully and he said, John, just a minute. I just want to say something to you. He said, okay, go ahead. And he said one line. And next day, Scully, he left PepsiCo and he went on to join Apple. So what did he say? All he said is, John, do you want to sell sugar water for the rest of your life? Or do you want to come with me and change the world? And to come up with that one line, which was so powerful, it took like 3 months for Steve. He planned it because he wanted to figure out what is that I can say that this kind of person would like to listen so that he gets interested. Again, consider it a sales pitch to investor only, that you are convincing your co-founder or you're convincing a successful person to leave everything which is very big for him, which took him a lot of time to earn, and come down to take another big challenge. So that's what he figured out. And that is what makes the crux of a communication. So whenever you are presenting your idea to anybody, this is what you should be looking at. This is your communication framework. First, answer the question, why? Why customers need it? Then answer the questions, what problem it is going to solve it for them. And the third part of it is how it will change the life of their life if you're selling B2C, or their business if you're selling B2B, if you're targeting B2B. So why, what, and how. It's very, very important. Okay, this is where most of the entrepreneurs go wrong. They straight away jumps into, describing about the product and telling all those features and those kind of things, which lands them into a trap where investors start asking the questions. Remember, you don't want any questions at this stage from investors. You want questions from the next stage. So why, what, how? For easy remembrance, it's WWH. How many people are a fan of WWE here? Okay, so just like WWE, we have WWH. Okay, just remember that part. Okay, let's take an example to understand it. Imagine the same software example we are taking now. Whether you have a company, whether you are a group of individuals, it doesn't matter. Whether you are into B2B, whether you are targeting B2C, it doesn't matter, right? Whether you're targeting angel investors or seed investment, or in a growth stage, or you're in a planning stage, it doesn't matter. This is applicable everywhere. So why, what, how? To give you an example, the same software solution which is being targeted to automobile industry, how would I put my value proposition in why, what, how? Let us say why. Or why is automobile manufacturers are taking over 2 years to bring a vehicle, or 2 years, 3 years to bring a vehicle to market. It can be easily reduced to 1 year to be more productive. Now remember, most of the entrepreneurs, where they go wrong is they focus on the what and the how part of it. If you miss the why part of it, the value to investor is never clear, and he will ask a lot of questions to you. So automobile manufacturers, eventually what is that they will get out of it? That is the question. Eventually, what is that they will get out of it? So their production time will reduce to half, and then they will get competitive advantage and making a lot of money. The second part is what? What is the problem it will solve? That you'll be able to get that why part. The reason for slow time to market is manual processes, low productivity, takes a lot of time in quality checks. So these are the problems that you're highlighting over here, which leads to high time to market. And then how the life will change, or how the business will change? Well, we will introduce automation through software in assembly line. After this, the productivity will jump to double, and time to market will come to half or less than 1 year. Savings will go up in millions, and competitiveness will be all-time high. I can give you another example of a very simple product, which is, let us say you're working on a dietary product. You're targeting, let us say, a gym enthusiast. Okay. So what will be the why of that product? What is that organic product that you're going to bring to the market? What would be your why for it? If I may ask you, can you guess, some of you people? Why did exactly Jobs wanted to join? He wanted big challenge. Steve Jobs figured out that people of this caliber who have seen this kind of success, they cannot be motivated with money. They cannot be motivated with anything else. They can only be motivated with the next big challenge in their life. People with a lot of skills and caliber and intelligence, that's what they like. So in 3 months, that's what he figured out, the why part of it, that why this kind of people will come and join Apple. So now what you're trying to figure out is why customer would actually buy my product. If you could clarify that to investor, then they are yours. All right. So why customer would buy your product? What is the problem that you would be solving for them, and how your customer's life will change after it? If you could clarify, then everything is sorted in terms of value. But if you miss this part over here, ladies and gentlemen, then you're going to end up in a lot of question state, which is not going to be easy for you. I was giving you another example of, let us say you're working on a product, organic product for gym enthusiasts. More proteins in single scoop. Okay, see, you will get more proteins, but if you get more proteins, what would happen? That is my question. See, most of the people get stopped over there. That is the what part of it. If I get more proteins, what would happen to me? My muscles will build faster, or I will stay more fit, or I will not fall sick after exercise. What is that is going to happen? That is what you need to answer. That is your why part. All right, I'm happy that your organic protein to nullify adulterations. Okay, once you nullify adulteration, what would happen? What is the end result that will be achieved? That is the why part. All right. So once adulterations is nullified, which means I won't be falling sick, right? So that's what I'm looking to achieve. That is the why part. That is why your customers would buy your product, and that is the value. All right. Are we clear on that part? Let's move on. The second part of it is when we are discussing about creating value for your idea. Now, it's not just the idea value itself, but the presentation skills also matters. Right or wrong? How many people agree to that? Our protein is cheaper than any other in the market with same quality. Okay, your protein is cheaper. What does it will do to the customers if it is cheaper? Will you be saving money, or would you be getting it in a less amount for the same quality? That is what I'm trying to tell you, right? You have to reach to that why part. Okay, why would customer would like to buy it? To save money, to make bodybuilding faster, or to be more safer? These are the things, that's what they attach to. All right, and that is how investors will understand the value of it. Okay, you guys are now fighting with me. Yes, there will be 2 times more proteins in single scoop, but how it's going to change their life in the end? You're not reaching to the end part of it. All right. So if you reach to that part, that becomes the value of it. All right. Now, the second part of it is the presentation part, everyone. If you have to make sure that there are no questions from investors in this part, because this is the most complicated part, then what you need to do is you need to present it well. And to make people understand it easily, if it comes in a storytelling format, then people understand. But what is so important about storytelling? See, in storytelling, the person you are targeting, which is investor in this case, should be the hero of that story. Should feel like he is a part of that story. And then he should go through that story as if it is happening to them. And then you should highlight what is the problem they are going to face, what is the solution that you're going to give, and how their life is going to change. As we saw in the video, remember the video we saw, everyone? So when he was saying about the hoodie, basically, how were you feeling? As if you are part of that story, and that you feel like it's winter and you come out and you want to wear that hoodie, but then sun comes out and you feel hot, and then you don't know where to tie and how to handle that hoodie. And then sometimes it fell off. And then what happens is you feel that pain, like it's so difficult to manage. And then he gives a solution that you can convert it into a backpack, right? And then you feel like you can easily wear it. Then he showcased like how you can wear it and how the life will change. That's all about it, right? He goes with the why, then what, and then how part of it. Now, in terms of story, if you have to put it, multiple ways you can do it, but a story has three key elements. The setup part of it, where you put your audience, in this case, it will be investor, into the story, right? Set the context of it. I'll give you examples, then you will understand it better. Then you showcase the struggle part of it, the problems that they are facing, and then you give a solution to it, and then you tell how their life will change. Let's take an example of of the same automobile company. Let us say you are in front of investor and you're selling your software solution. Then how do you start it? You can say one way of doing it is you say, imagine you are running an automobile manufacturing business, right? You put investors into that. Imagine you're running an automobile manufacturing business. You have a great car design. You know that a lot of customers will be benefited from it. They would like to buy this fantastic car that you're working on, and you start designing it with your team. And then you realize by the time the car comes out, it will be 3 years. What would happen? How would you feel? And then he says, yeah, we're going to feel very bad. And imagine in those 3 years, competition catches up with you before you can even come out with that car. And they deliver that car in just like 1.5, 2 years. And they capture most of the market. How much money would you be losing? How would you feel about that? Now you are talking about their problems. Then you give solutions. Why is it happening? Because of your assembly line is slow, it's manual processes, it's killing the productivity, it is delaying the time to market, and that is why we have a solution, software solution. We're going to fully automate it and bring down your time to market like from 3 years to just under 1 year, so that in 1 year, this fantastic product, you can bring it out to market and sell it globally and make a lot of money out of it. How would you feel if you could bring it out in 1 year? Now, what you did just now, you told him a story, you made him the hero of the story, and you made him realize the pain of it. Then you gave a solution. Then you made him realize how the life will be and how much money we can look at making after it. That's one way of doing it. Second way of doing it is, please pay attention. This is going to be interesting. Second is, you can take an actual case study of another company or another such incident and put your investor into that. To give you an idea, that's even better, right? To give you an idea, let's say you can say, Mr. Investor, imagine you are running a company, Harley Davidson, right? You have such interesting product, you have such a big brand, but then you see the demand of that product is dying. It actually happened. Now, how many people know that Harley Davidson story? Now, how much their demand has gone down, right? Because of their time to market, and at the same time because of other competition with other kind of product has come in India and globally. The demand has gone down, and you should read their case study also. So say to investor, Mr. Investor, imagine you are running Harley Davidson. You have a beautiful product, you have a big brand to back it up, but then you see the demand of the product is dying. Why do you think the product demand is dying? And then you say it is dying because the time it takes for a new product to come into the market, by that time, the competition has already released 40 different products and customer has already bought it. Now they don't feel a need to have another bike when they already have one. And this is costing company millions, hundreds and millions of in revenue, in operations cost, everything is burning down. How do you feel if that happens to you? They will feel bad about it. Now, let me tell you, why is it happening? It's happening because the slow assembly line, it has a lot of processes, a lot of these things, which is making the entire time to market go crumbling. What I'm proposing is, I am giving you a software automation. Now, if I introduced automation and automate everything to reduce your time to market by like less than 2 years, like you can bring new product to 1 year, less than 1 year, what do you think, what would be the revenue of the company? What do you think, how much market share you would be able to capture? What do you think, how fast you can go into different companies and sell it? How do you think, how fast you would be better than the competition? Then they say, we will be much, much better. How much money would you be saving? Hell lot of money. And how much money you would be making? Hell lot of money you would be making. And that's what I'm proposing here. And then people will understand. right? So a story has three elements. The setup, where you set the context and make your investor the hero of it, and then you showcase the struggle part of it, then you give a solution, and then you tell them how your life will change. The same thing, why, what, how, I put it in a story. And once you do that, let me tell you, anybody relates to the pain, anybody understands the value of it, and they will have very, very less questions. So it will not put you in that trap where you can lose the track. Now, it's all about the presentation also. Ladies and gentlemen, it's very, very important that you stay laser focused on value and value proposition, which means you should be talking about the why, what, and how, and don't move away from that. Make sure you make the eye contact. Keep engaging them by asking questions at every juncture, important juncture. You answer, ask questions like I was asking you, like if you lose money, how would you feel? Or if your product is delayed in the market, how would you feel? You keep asking that questions. How would you feel? How would you feel? Right? If you're talking about problems, how would you feel? If you're talking about solution, how would you feel? And if you're talking about the gains part of it, like how their life will change, you will be making more money. How would you feel about that? When you go in this framework asking questions, let me tell you, they'll be engaged. They will realize the pain. And if they realize the pain, they accept it, which means your value is very, very clear to them. The last part is infectious energy. Very important. All right. Now, when I say this, it's very important. Different people take it in a different way. And I would like to clarify it very, very, with underline. And that thing is, there are some who are extroverts. There are some who are introverts. Tell me who you are, an extrovert or you are an introvert. Just type it over there. What do you feel? You are an extrovert, you are an introvert. All right, we have different answers. Now, all right, now anything to understand here, first of all, is being an introvert is not a weakness in pitching. It is not a weakness. Many people feel it's a weakness. I've come across so many entrepreneurs. It is not a weakness. It is actually a strength. See, God has gifted us something, all right? And it's very important that we understand our strengths and play to our strength, right? So both introvert, extrovert can showcase infectious enthusiasm and energy. Now, introvert especially, it's not about, talking loud or showcasing energy and those kind of things. Yeah. It is all about showcasing the genuine interest and passion. How do you do that? You maintain what your regular nature is, but you keep bending forward. You keep making that eye contact. You keep asking questions to them, a little bit smile, and use the stage. If you're on a stage, if you're on video, use your body gestures properly. If you are in front of them on a stage, then use the entire stage, walking here, walking there, getting close to them, getting behind, and that shows your genuine interest, all these things. Okay, but don't change your behavior and don't try to be like, if you're an introvert, try to behave like an extrovert, or if you're an extrovert, try to behave like an introvert. Because you move away from your natural behavior, then you get killed, right? It's like you're asking Dravid to play like Sehwag and you're asking Sehwag to play like Dravid. Both will fail, all right? So never do that. But show genuine enthusiasm, show genuine interest, whether your pace is slow, whether your pace is fast, it's loud or it's mild, it doesn't matter. So do we agree to all that? Give me a yes or a no. But we need good public speaking skills. It depends upon what is your definition of public speaking skills. Okay, my definition of public speaking skills is passing on that idea, that crucial information in a short and concise way. That is my idea of public speaking. Okay, these investors, they see 100 types of persons in one day. They all come with different qualities. Some are very good with presentation skills, some are not at all, because we are coming from technical background and we may be very good with technology, right? Like Mr. Narayan Murthy is pretty good with technology, is the master of it. Okay, but you may not be very good with those presentation skills and public speakings, that he keep it to minimum, right? Why does he do that? Because that's how he is. But it doesn't mean it brings down the value. But whenever you listen to him talking, he talks such quality information that blows away the mind. So that is why this communication framework has been brought in, the why, what, how. If you stick to it, then you're talking quality. Then it doesn't matter how you're talking, the message gets across and people are moved by it. People are moved by the emotions part of it. And why is the emotion, right? Why is the emotion that why would I need this product? What change it's going to bring to? All right. All right. Now comes the most important part of it, how he or she will do it. Now you have proved the value of your idea, but you need to tell how you are going to make money to them, right? That's another big question, right? They would be asking, how would you make money to them? Now, this is where you can expect questions, and that's perfectly fine. Let's quickly watch this video before I discuss this part. This is where you would be discussing about the revenue model and stuff of that part. But let's watch this second video.
Thank you. Heather, can we see it? Now you can see your sample. Yes, thank you. Mark, you right here? Yes, sir. Appreciate it, Heather. You check it out, you guys. Thank you. No worries. Thank you. Thank you very much. Very nice. Everyone stand up, please. It's a conversion race. Put your stuff down. So here's the deal, guys. All you do is you reach in, grab the entire hoodie, and pull it through, and then just start shoving the rest of it on.
Okay. So I wanted to show you this part. Take a look
Yes,
at
reach
it.
in, grab and pull, everything, just grab and pull, and then tuck it through the inside, and then bam! Winner over there! Blast. Boom! So you flip it on,
Okay.
grab the rope, and you literally slide and bite at any height. Look, slide and bite at any height. Slide up to any height and just loosen it. Watch, you just do this, look, whoop, it comes right off.
Is this your first product?
Yeah, have a seat, you guys, let's talk.
Okay. Now this is called a dramatic pull. What is it called? A dramatic pull. What it means is you, like you would have seen how many people watch Tata Sky over there, right? As soon as you open Tata Sky, you have this Naptol coming in, right? And in Naptol, you will see these people will be talking and they will be showcasing the product. And if it is a bed sheet, they will throw a lot of liquid on it and it will say that it's stain proof. See, there are no stains, right? If they are selling any gym equipments and they want to see how, they want to show you how strong it is, they will put a 10 kg weight, 50 kg weight, and it will show you that it's very strong. These are all the things called as dramatic pull. It is part of your story. And if you have a product ready, you want to showcase them the value of it, you can use the dramatic pull as well as part of your story. For example, let us say you are selling a very pure water. That is your idea. You want to sell the pure water. What you do is you hand over to them a water bottle and say, drink this water out of it. And then you tell them, that water you just drank, do you know how pure it is? They say, no, we don't know. Well, it has 70% impurities that are not even visible. And that could actually hurt your health. And that is the regular tap water, or that is the bottled water, or if you're targeting PepsiCo, that is the PepsiCo water, whatever it is you want to say. And then you introduce your water and tell them, see the change in the taste and see how this water tastes and how healthy it is. Then you explain it to them. This is called a dramatic pull. All right. So something like, I'll give you another example, which you can, for your understanding, imagine you are selling a very strong glass. All right. Well, a shock-proof glass or a break-proof glass for their windows or for their office. Imagine just that. Now, how you can use a dramatic pull? Let us say you put that glass in front of investors and then one person comes and start, let us say, throwing stones at it or something like that. And then you say, did you see how strong it is? So basically, to pass on the value, you use a dramatic pull and prove your point, whatever the why part of it, right? The why part of it. You can start throwing stones, or you can start shooting if that is possible with some fake guns and showcase like how strong it is. All that can be done. All right. So dramatic pull, it's totally up to your imagination how you can do it. Like paper boat. How many people knows paper boat here? Just give me a yes or a no. So what did they do is, as part of their story, and they also used a dramatic pull. What did they do is they brought some fresh juices like kala khatta and all, right? And then they put it in front of the investors and they asked to drink, and they asked how many of you people miss it, how many of you have drank it in your childhood, and how many of you miss it. And then they said, everybody said, yes, we are missing this kala khatta and couple of other regular things which you don't find it in the shop, right? As part of your fresh juices, as part of your bottled juices. And then they said, we are introducing the paper boat. It will have this kala khatta and those kind of jaljeera and those kind of things. And that's how they continued with their story with the dramatic pull. All right. So these are called as dramatic pull. It can be done with many products. It cannot be done, but you should know it. If it can be done with your product, be very creative to use it.
So here's the deal.
Tell us about you, your background.
My grandfather, to kind of give you a starting point, was the co-creator of the art of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the now famous all over the world, fast-growing martial art. My father came to America and started teaching at his garage in 1978. It was my uncle Hoist, my dad's brother, who went in UFC, the early UFCs, went in there and beat these giants. Put us on the map, and so the clothing brand also came into fruition, and we're selling t-shirts, hoodies, uniforms, and martial arts apparel. So we learned a lot of things during this scaling of jiu-jitsu. A supply chain was a critical factor there. It's been incredibly helpful to have those skills.
And what is one of these costs?
We make them for between $13 and $15. We sell them for between $40 and $50.
And how are you selling them?
All of this has been directly online. We did like a pilot test. We ordered 5,000 units, put it out, see how the people are going to respond to this. And then in 2.5 months, we sold out.
So you sold $200,000 worth, give or take.
Yeah, give or take. But we started selling out of our top SKUs like within 60 days.
Okay, and I get all that. I want to hear about sales. I want to hear about sales.
So just real quick, it went from a hoodie, from a product, as we know
this already.
So then my wife's mother says, Henry, I don't wear hooded garments. Guess what we came out with? Convertible crew necks, fully convertible. Then parents called in and said, hey, my kids always tell me to carry this stuff.
Wait, turn the crew neck around.
Yeah.
Oh, you have an entire product?
Guys, this is not a product. It's a company. We're here to talk business. This is not what you guys like. I've watched enough episodes.
Okay.
So hold on. I went to Disneyland, you guys, and I saw one dad carrying 6.
Now, yeah. So as you can see, after the pitch is over, investor wanted to get into the part where we start talking about money, right? This is where he made a slight mistake also, and he lost one of the investor where he was trying to understand how would you make us money, but he couldn't answer that question, right? That was one of the mistakes, and that pulled out one investor, and he could only get, I think, 2 investors to join. Good amount of money, but it could have been better if this mistake would not have been made. So what you should be answering here is how he or she will do it, how you would make us money. And 2 things you would be answering here is, again, this is my formula, who, what, how, like who is your target audience, and how you're going to make that money, and what is your revenue model. All right, let me just talk about it. What is going to be a revenue model, and how would you be making me money? So in that, you would be answering who, what, how. Who is the target audience? You give the size that this is going to be the target audience. What is unique about your product that you would be selling to them, and how you intend to convert that audience into revenue. This is where you would be talking about the revenue model. So revenue model will have 4 parts which you need to mandatorily prepare, because your questions would be coming around this only. All the questions investor will ask, everything, whether they ask 5 questions to you or 50 questions to you, whether 1 investor asks or 50 investors ask, it doesn't matter. All the answers lies in these 4 parts. So how would you present your revenue model? First of all, you need to talk about the target audience. What kind of target audience you're targeting, and how do you intend to make money out of it, right? So in that, you would be talking about what is the model you would be choosing. How are you going to sell your product and services? Are you going to sell it directly online, or are you going to sell it through channel partners, or are you going to choose the franchise model, or are you going to try something else, partnered with some companies and those kind of things? So what is the revenue model, how it will look like? How would you sell it to the customers, where they can buy it from? That's what you need to answer. And the second thing you need to be prepared of, what will be your time to break even? So what is time to break even? Everybody knows that here, that if I give you investment, initially it will be a loss business, right? You put all that investments in marketing, in business and promotions and all those things. and sales will be very less. And then slowly a time will come where your investment is equal to the revenue you are making or the sales you are making. That is called the time to break even. So whether the break even will happen in 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years, if you're already not selling your product or services, then you need to know this number. All right? When the break even will come. If you're selling it already, then you need to know what is your annual sales and what is your profit over there. All right? And how much you're investing to get that many sales. So these three important components are there. Second part you need to know, ladies and gentlemen, is the comparative landscape. Who are your going to be competitions, where they are strong, where they are weak, and how do you intend to capture that competition? This is also very important for investors. Well, every market will have competition. Do we agree to that? Unless there is a total new idea, which is very rare, there will be competitions, right? Now, competition comparison is very important for investors. And what entrepreneurs make a mistake here is they only know one type of competition comparison, which is product to product comparison. And they only talk about that. Like their product or service is lacking this, our product or service is strong here. Well, there are other type of competition comparison also with which you can win investors' confidence. To give you an idea, first itself can be the product comparison. Like for example, the same software solution for automobile manufacturers. Let us say competitions, you can say our competitions, we have 3 competitions and they are currently selling their software as a, you can say as an on-site installment, as an on-site installation over servers. What we are bringing is cloud. Our software will sit on cloud. That can be one differentiation from competition. The second example can be based on the pricing, that currently our competitors, they are charging a capital investment, a one-time investment, which is huge for customers to pay. And so sometimes they find it very difficult to buy. What we are bringing is a commodity model, or we are bringing it an annual subscription model or a monthly subscription model like Netflix has, right? So you can do a comparison based on the pricing. You can do a comparison based on the target audience as well. Like currently, our competition is focused on big corporates. We want to consolidate the small and medium businesses or micro businesses, or vice versa, right? It can be that way. It can be based on the region target. What you can say, our competitors are right now focused on US, where we would be targeting Asia, or vice versa, right? So anyway, the competition comparison can happen. You need to know all these things and you need to be ready with this answer, that who is your competition and how do you plan to target them. All right. Or it can be based on the marketing part of it. Like competition is not very strong on online marketing. We would be selling our products mainly through online marketing. Okay. It can be based on marketing. So remember these parameters and find a differentiation from competition. The other part is the market size. You should be very clear on how big the market is, what is the competition share, and what kind of share you want to target. We discussed it in the beginning also in the ask part during the introduction. How many people remember that? Right? When you ask, you have to tell that how much investment you seek, what is the market share you are targeting, by what timeline. All right. So that market share should be very, very clear. What size is the market? 20,000 crore, 2 lakh crore, whatever it is. And what kind of market share competition has, what kind of market share you are going to target, and what is your timeline. All right. Then you need to know about that. All right. And you should have data also. Like how do you know it is a 20,000 crore market? Is it Forbes telling you? Is it the business magazines telling you? Is it there is a report done? So you should know all those sources and you should have that on ready. So if in case they know, they want to ask you like, how do you know that it is a 20,000 crore market? Well, this is the study that has been published here and we know through that. So that there is a credibility. And then last part is the success forecast, which is very, very important. You would have noticed one of the investors asked it also, that how much sales you are planning to make and by when. It was a short question, but it was a very important question. So you need to know your key milestone, like when the product will come into the market. How soon do you see it? when you will be able to make 50 or 100 customers, when you will reach break even, when you will be profitable, and how much profits you are looking in the next 5 years, in the 10 years. And when you will be able to overtake your competition, when you will be able to gain a market share. So these are some of the predictions that you would need to make. These are projections. So based on your marketing plan that you're putting together, these projections will come out from your marketing plan. And also you need to know about the investments involved. What will be your investments in employees hiring? What will be your investments in product manufacturing? What would be your investments in, let us say, marketing? These are the three things. So they can compare, like, okay, we can give this much amount. This is the money that will go to them. This much money will go in marketing. This will be our cost. This will be our sales. And this will be our profit. That's what we are looking at. Because that's how they're going to judge how much investment should I put in, and when I can expect the returns part of it. All right. So you'll have this video, you'll have this PPT. Make sure all these points are covered in your presentation, and you will be able to sail through very successfully. We have tried this in IIT, and every workshop, whoever have gone for investors, people have come back to me and they have won investments ranging from 5 lakhs to up to 2.5 crore as well. So they have been able to easily do it. All right, so that brings me towards the end. Just to summarize, everyone, this is your first 10 minutes pitch, 10 to 15 minutes, you can call it. You talk about introduction, then you talk about, this is the 10 minutes story pitch. I have excluded the elevator pitch, which takes another 2 to 3 minutes. So talk about the story and the ending. You talk about the problem, tell a story. You talk about your solution, and you talk about how the life will change. Then you move on to the target market size, how much you're targeting, revenue model, what will be your customer acquisition, like how soon you will be able to get your 50, 100, 200 customers, and how do you plan to wade through the competition. And again, in the end, you summarize how much funding you need and how soon you need it. All right. So that would make your very effective sales pitch. Now, let me know if you have any questions. Garvit, thank you, sir, for a very useful session. My pleasure. Aman, thank you for the session. My pleasure. So let me see if you have any questions. You can ask now. Please show the 5 question slide. All right. You'll get the slide deck. I will make sure that it reaches Kanchan. My team will do that. And from Kanchan, you have to make sure, I don't know if she's here or not, but she will make sure, I'm sorry, this was not the slide you're asking. So these are the questions that they'll have in mind in a very specific order. This is what goes through the investor's mind. And let me tell you, even it goes through the customer mind. So let us say tomorrow you are talking to a customer, you need to prepare a pitch for it also, whether your first customer or 10th customer or 100th customer, that's what goes through their mind also. Thank you, Avijit. I'm happy that you find your session very useful. How do we make the dramatic pull with services? So what is the service here? Okay, what you can do is I will give you all my LinkedIn platform where I am very active. Okay, and I do a lot of this stuff, and I do a lot of release a lot of ebooks for entrepreneurs. So you can connect with me over there, and based on the services, now we have a very limited time. So based on the services, I can guide you how we can put together a dramatic pull for it. For that, I need to understand what are the services and those kind of things. So here it is, my LinkedIn. You can connect with me over there. And these specific questions I can answer, like how to do it for our services. But let me see, other questions are there. Great learning. Thank you very much, everyone. What are the examples of few introductory lines which can attract an investor to invest without thinking twice? Well, Chanvi, is it Chavi? Sorry about that pronunciation. Chavi, introduction I gave you in the very beginning. If you stick to that introduction and work out your own introduction on that, that should take you through. Okay. If you would like me to review it, you can connect with me on LinkedIn after putting your introduction, and I can review it and tell you whether it will work or if it can be made any better. All right. How do we make that dramatic pull? Okay. How startups are valued as they're not publicly listed, and how investor decides on the amount as equity. Very important questions. I'll give you those videos also so you can check it out. But how investors, there is no particular formula. Now, investor, what they would, if they like your idea, what they will try to do is they will try to give you less for more equity. Now, this is where your negotiation skills will come into picture. All right. So, what investors' efforts would be, they would try to say, I will give you $100,000 for 35 or 50% equity. But then, how do you wade through that questions and how do you propose in return? How do you say is to give you an idea? You tell them, sir, within the next 3 years, I am expecting a revenue from this company for, let's say, $1 million at least. That is the kind of money we are looking at. To get that money, I need to raise bigger investments. So if you can offer me $300,000 for an equity of 2025, let's say you propose 21st or 25st, then we can make it work. Remember, once investors start proposing you, which means couple of things has happened. He see a value in it. Which means he's liking everything. So now the power comes to you. So you are in more power situation right now. So you can easily negotiate with them. Okay. And you have to be very smart. If you don't start negotiating with one investor first when they make a proposal. Let us say he says, I can offer you $100,000 for 50% equity shares, which means the value is clear to them. One guy got interested. Now, if one guy got interested, before you make your offer, you check the interest of other investors. Second investor, third investors. Like, are you also interested? Are you also interested? Let them make that offer. And then you make your offer. Don't simply go enthusiastic and one investor make a offer and then you immediately start negotiating over there. Don't do that. Let everybody make that offer. Then you see which is the best offer for you and you start negotiating on that. How it works is, let us say I'm first investor. I will make $100,000 offer to you for 50% equity. Then what will happen is the second investor, he has to make a better offer, right? So what he will do is either he will try to increase the investment or try to bring down the equity. Now what is happening is these guys are competing. So you need to let them compete. Let them come with one of them with the best offer. And from there you start negotiating. Okay. That is the rule of negotiation. Okay. What if our product has a potential place in the market, but the problem it solves isn't greater than the investment we seek? Well, let me tell you, investors are not all knowing. The trick lies in presentation. You should be first convinced if you are that it has a bigger potential and can target a bigger market. If you are not convinced, then first make yourself convinced by doing a proper research and bring in more data points to make sure it sounds very big. And then you can ask a big investment. All right. So you should be convinced. You should make investor convinced that it is a big investment. Okay. As I told you, investor is not all knowing. There have been many failed ideas where investors has invested and that didn't even take off the ground also. Let me give you one of the biggest failure in the history of entrepreneurship is how many people know who designed these planes? Wright brothers, right? Now, when Wright brothers were working on the idea without any funding, without any investment, there was another company that was working on the ideas of airplanes with huge investments and that could never take off the ground, right? So they are not all knowing. They totally depend upon your confidence, your enthusiasm, and your data points. So make sure those are right. what kind of questions can investor ask you apart from the money part of it? Well, let me tell you all the questions there. I cannot give you a list of questions that they will always ask these 10, 15, 20 questions. They can come up with any questions. There is no limit to human mind. You also know that, right? But the slide deck I have given you, all your questions, answers are in there. You should be better prepared with your answers. Then you can map it to the question. For example, they asked, what is your background? Now, this is an unexpected question. But how he successfully did it is he connected that back to what kind of experience he holds in making hoodies, right? So your authority over there. Then how much money you are making, or when can we expect this idea to come out successfully, or how much losses you expect. Everything they can ask different questions in different ways. But then answers all lies in the slide deck. If you prepare it well, then you should not have any other problems. It is okay to, after all, you're doing it for equity only, right? Equity exchange, that's all you have to offer. So it is okay to do that, right? What kind of questions can investor ask? How to approach? Okay, is it okay? Wait a minute. Being a first-time entrepreneur, how can we prove our credibility? All right, how can we prove our credibility? This is where your introduction plays a very important role, right? There is nothing called as, I can go and check your credibility, because there is no credibility here. What you are doing is you are using your existing experience that you have, your education, or those kind of details to establish your authority. And the only way to do it is the way you write your introduction. So how successful you are in terms of that skill for which you are targeting. Like example, to give you, let us say you're coming up with the idea of organic food or organic vitamins and those kind of things for exercise enthusiasts, right? Then you start your introduction with, my name is Amit. I'm a huge fan of exercising. I do it like 6 hours a day. I've been doing it for like last 15 years and something. And I'm a huge fan of proteins or organic food. And then you continue that I'm also the CEO of this company. So the first line that you tell is basically your credibility related to the idea you are working on. All right, that's how you establish your credibility. If you're into softwares, then you tell what kind of successful architect you are. If you are into, let us say, you're working on some gaming ideas, so what kind of gaming enthusiast you have and those kind of things, right? Now, how to select relevant investors? That is, I'll give you a ebook, or I'll give you these things, ebook where you have all the sources, where you can will have all the investor companies you can choose from. Those companies' website you can go and you can see majorly what they invest in. Like there are many companies like Village Ingro is there, right? They mostly do investments in agriculture sector. So agriculture related things, you can do it with them. So ping me on LinkedIn, I can give you those sources over there. What to avoid in investors? Well, investors should be successful. They should have a credibility. So you need to look into that part also. All right. So those kind of details, you will find it on websites very easily. It's a very transparent thing, right? So if they are doing more investments, they are successful. If they are doing investments in bigger companies, they are successful, right? Those kind of things are there. So you need to see.
So basically, there was one question we had for related to the services one. So I was just following on that software example that you were driving through at the various parts. Say, suppose you have to do a dramatic pull on the software. How will you go about doing it? Of the selling of the software?
Now, especially in software and especially in that assembly line example, it is not possible. So what you do is you stick to the story part of it and let make investor the hero of it and take him through the pain, all imaginary. Because in that dramatic pull is not possible. Wherever it is possible, you use it. Wherever it is not possible, we don't. We just
and what? Okay, got it. And what about the other products? Like say we are developing a new product or for which the market is like people are not still aware that they require this product, or like they're not aware of this product or something, like such a requirement exists till we bring to the market. How do we go about, comparing it with our competitors, like the competitive landscape? Do we?
For comparative landscapes, are there competitors for that product?
There would be like far-fetched competitors, but not exactly the right one, the new one, because it's a new product line or a new marketplace that we're entering.
Then you can say we don't have any direct competitions. We have some indirect competitions, but their focus areas is different. So then it is even better for you. It's an advantage you can use. But if you don't talk about competition, then you're bluffing. That is how investors take it. So you need to have competitors. Then you can break it down saying they are indirect competitions. They are not directly focusing on these kind of customers or these kind of products. But they are indirect, and that's how we counter it. We are coming up with a totally unique thing where at least for the next 10 years, we don't expect any competitors, direct competitors.
Thanks a lot, Amit. Thanks for, this was a very useful session and a very insightful one.
My pleasure. All right, everyone. Any other further questions? We'll take it up on LinkedIn. You can connect with me. And I wish you all the best. You guys have great potential, and you have great access to the knowledge and wealth that your organization is bringing to you. And I'm pretty sure you're going to make it very, very big. Just keep trying, put your all might grit into it, and take it to the next level, because you are the future of this country. And let me tell you, we are in one of the best times right now, although there are a lot of bad things are going on in terms of COVID, and people are losing their loved ones and those kind of things. But if we, for a moment, forget that, we are living in one of the best times where for entrepreneurships, for startups, is one of the best times. It is so easy to start. It is so many investors are there to invest in. Pulling money, pulling resources, pulling infrastructure is no big deal. There is just one, the centerpiece of that is an entrepreneur that has to be there, and he should do it with all great might and make it big. You guys can do it. I wish you all the success in that. Take care of your health also. Take care of your family's health. Keep safe, and keep working hard. Keep doing big things. All the best to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Amit, for this informative session, and also taking all the questions we had with so much patience. We really appreciate it. And as a gesture of gratitude from I Am Bangalore's Eximus, we'll be making a donation to a Bangalore-based NGO, the details of which will be sent to you shortly. So thank you once again, and thanks to all the participants for tuning in on a weekend afternoon.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Kanchan. Thank you, Avni. Is it Avni? I hope I'm pronouncing the name right.
That's right.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Take care of yourself. Good for today. Enjoy your lunch, and see you next time. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Goodbye.